Hey guys, it's Fundamental Basic here. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to swap heads over in Photoshop. So by that I mean we're going to take somebody's head and put it onto somebody else's body. It seems to be a very popular little trick to do for beginners in Photoshop, so I thought let's take a look at how to do that. So the images that I'm going to be working with today, this cyborg here, I believe his name is Victor Stone, and the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Now, these images are going to be really easy to work with because they have essentially no backgrounds. And when you work with images that have no backgrounds, it is so much easier to do like transition effects because you don't have any messy debris left from the backgrounds to deal with. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is duplicate my image so that if I mess it up too much I can just go back to the start, and I will turn the original off, and I'm also going to delete this background because I don't really need it. Alright, so first things first, I'm just going to paint over this guy's face because I don't really need it anymore. Just going to paint right over that with some black until I get the area that I want Tony Abbott's head to sit on, basically. And that will do just fine. Alright, so that's looking good. Now, for Mr. Abbott, I'm going to grab my Magic Wand tool over here, and I had to fiddle around with the tolerance up here before, and for this image I discovered that 70 works pretty good. If any lower, then you get far too much pixels around his hair, and any higher, then you start to take pixels out of his face. So if I click on the background, it's pretty much just perfectly around the perimeter of his skin and his hair and his suit. So I'm going to delete the white pixels, and when you delete the white pixels you get a checkered background. This basically means that there are no pixels in the image. So now I'm going to hit Control D to deselect the crawling ants, and for the rest of it I might just rub him out using the classic eraser tool, and make sure your opacity and flow are at 100% when you go to do that. Alright, so let's just get rid of the suit, the tie, and we're pretty much good to go. Alright, so I'm just going to grab my arrow tool and move Tony over to the cyborg image, and his head's going to be way too big, but it's not going to matter too much. So we'll Control T so that we can resize him, and I'm just going to shift drag the top corner down until I get a size head that I want. Now his head's too big unfortunately for this image, but there's a way around it. So I'm just going to double click there, might turn him off for the time being. So for this, to make a bit more room for Tony's head, I'm going to go to Image, Canvas Size, and I need more height in my image. So I'm going to ramp it up to about 37 centimeters, and I'm going to anchor this from the bottom. Now watch what this does. Bop. So now I just need to fill this in with black. Grab my Alt key and just fill that in like that. Beautiful. Turn Tony back on. Oh, whoops, that's not Tony. Let's grab his head and just sort of fit it into place. And that's looking pretty dangerous, isn't it? We'll sort of tilt his head to the side to make it look like he's having fun. And that's pretty good, really. I mean, as far as a silly little trick like this goes, that's a pretty good result. You could work on the outer perimeter of his head and sort of just blur it to make it not stand out as much against the black background, but that's not too bad. So yeah, the sky's the limit with this kind of trick. You could turn your friends into jellyfish or whatever you like, really. I had a bit more fun turning Tony into a majestic giraffe and also a beautiful lady. So use your imaginations, play some silly jokes on your friends and have a bit of fun with this little trick, and I'll catch you in my next video.